Hi, I'm Jeannie. Welcome back to Craft Genie, and today Patty is joining me.
Hello.
And we have a really fun craft for you today.
We do.
A few weeks ago I was out at a store and they had this really great little shabby chic set of pedestal plates and a vase. Darling set, 3 plates, a vase. It was about $125 more than I wanted to spend, but I loved it. And I thought, I bet I can make something pretty similar to what I saw there. So we came up with this. This is what we're going to do for you today. Little plate on a pedestal. This is what we're going to make today. What I did was I actually found some cute little plates that I liked. These were a thrift store plate. And I found, you can see this, it's a goblet. I spray painted it white. With this one I knocked off a little bit of the paint to give it that sort of
Kind of a milk glass look.
milk glass, distressed it a little bit. We used some E6000 glue. I'll show you that in a little bit. Let it dry, and we have our own pedestal plate. I will be doing a shorter plate and just have a series of plates. Once we've painted them, there's other things we can do with it that I'm going to show you as well. Like the vase that came with the set. You probably have some of these laying around. They are, I've got them under my sink.
I've got about 10 of them under the sink.
Never use them, just a plain vase. But what I did was painted it and antiqued it.
I like that.
And would look great with this set on your table. Besides these, there's more, Patty.
Yeah. So we started thinking about what else we can do, and even as gifts for people. And I have one sister who loves black and white and red. So we came across this plate. Isn't this beautiful? Kind of an Art Deco-y look, and it had a matching little salad plate to it, which we just loved. But again, at the thrift store, it was about $1 a piece for the plates, but there isn't a full set. There was like 3 of these and 2 of these, or 3 of these. So what we did is we thought, why don't we do something similar to this? So we looked at glasses. Now this glass, it's cute, but it's not really my style. But we decided what we're going to do is we're going to paint this one black. Same thing as Jeannie was talking about. And we're going to make these into pedestals. Now this one already had a black base to it, which we liked. So this one will probably stay as is. But we're going to paint the inside of the glass black. So this will all be a black stem on it. So finding different things. Also, sometimes at the thrift store you'll find just one of a kind. So we found these glasses. There was just one of these and one of these. Kind of cool, very different, but what are we going to do with them? So turn them over. Same thing. We're going to make these pedestals now with a clear plate because the glass is so ornate. Same thing with this one, a clear plate on this to go since they're so ornate with the glasses. So we also, sometimes you'll find things that match. We found this plate and this glass, same color of pink. So again, we're going to do this. And now this one, like these glasses and this one, we will not paint, but we'll glue. But you see how pretty this is. The colors match perfectly, and you've got a pedestal. Now, Jeannie and I talked about we don't do a ton of entertaining. I have sisters that do that. But really, you can use these not just for entertaining. My kids, sometimes they'll have their friends come over, and I end up making hamburgers for the kids, and I set everything out, the lettuce, tomato, and cheese, and all of that. So why not, instead of just putting it on a paper plate, if you've made your little pedestals, you could have the cheese here, you could have the hamburgers here, you could have the lettuce, tomatoes on other plates. So there's other ways you can use these platters instead of just for a party. So the next step is we're going to go ahead and show you how we made these.
Okay, you can see we're in our paint clothes because now we're going to paint these pieces.
Make sure you're in a well-ventilated area.
We're outside, doesn't get more ventilated than this. This glass we're going to paint completely black. We're going to spray paint it black. This one we're going to spray paint just the inside of the bowl because the stem is already black.
Also, the clear plates that we got for the fancy glasses, we decided we're going to go ahead and frost the back side. We don't want to do the top side because this is where food potentially will be. So we're going to frost the back side of it because we just think that's going to look cool. So we'll see how that turns out.
And we're frosting it with something called frosted glass. How cool is that?
And we just got these at Walmart. They were about $4 for the cans. Make sure you shake these really well. We already kind of pre-shook them, but you need to make sure you shake these really, really well before you start spraying.
Since I'm going to be painting just the inside of this glass, I am going to wrap it with a paper towel because I don't want to get a lot of paint on the outside. Now, if you really want to, you can tape it all the way around the edge. I am just going to wrap it, twist it, and if a little paint gets on the outside, I'm okay with that because I can either wash it off, it's going to be glued up against the top. Thank you. And I'm going to spray just really lightly around the inside.
Now, since the stem was shiny, we decided to get a glossy black spray so that it'll be shiny just like the stem.
I've got one coat. I will probably go back and do a second coat, but I'm going to let that start to dry. And then this one, because this is going to be glued up against the glass, I'm just going to turn it over. I'll start spraying it, and same thing, I'll put a light coat on it. Don't go too heavy because it'll drip and really be bad. Just do a very light, quick coat. You're going to get a little overspray, especially outside, so hence the paint goes.
Wow, that looks good.
It's pretty. And I'm going to
We also put napkins down on this so that, again, as you're spraying, some of it's going to drip onto the napkins.
And I will go back and give this a second coat as well.
Now, how long do you need to let it dry before you do the second coat?
I'm going to give this one about a half hour. Depends on where you are, but give it a good amount of time to let it get really dry and then move to the second coat.
Okay, we want to do the frosted glass?
Go ahead.
I've never done this before. Okay, so just go straight streaks.
Go light streaks, just quickly across. Don't stay as long in one spot. Perfect.
Is that going to overspray on that?
Perfect. We will probably go back. We can see it right now. I can't show it to you because I don't want to lift the plate. It's already looking frosty. We'll probably go back one more time in the opposite direction and just give it another quick spray, but we're going to give us a few minutes to dry. Earlier I showed you this vase. Same thing, this was painted just like we did with these, but I painted it white. And then I actually stained it to give it this nice little antique look. So I'm going to show you really quick how we did that. This was what the glass looked like before, just a cut glass. I painted it white, and now we're going to stain this one.
Now, some people may want to keep it like this because it kind of has that milk glass look, but we like the antiquing, so we're actually going to go ahead and antique this.
What I'm using is just regular wood stain that you would use to stain a table. It's not very expensive, but you can also, maybe you have somebody that you know that does woodworking that may have stain.
Thank you, Richard, my brother, who had stain in his garage, so we didn't have to buy any.
Thank you, Richard.
Make sure you have gloves because this is going to get a little bit messy. And then a brush that's big enough to get the stain completely on all of it.
So I'm going to just start putting, and it's going to look like a disaster. Oh my gosh, what have you done to it? Just go ahead and make sure it gets into all the crevices. That's what's going to give it the beauty, is to get it deep into the crevices of your glass. So I'm going to work on this. Patty's going to show you a few other things.
So with the staining too, Jeannie, you don't have to be perfect. You know, like when you're painting, you have to make sure there are straight lines and stuff.
No, not at all with the stain.
Okay, all right. So we had just showed you earlier about painting the glass. So remember we had this glass, had the black stem but clear top. It was only about $1.50, so we bought these, but we really wanted all black. So Jeannie showed you earlier, she painted the inside, so you see the difference, how beautiful this looks now, completely black. That's going to be the stem of our pedestal, and the difference on that. And again, this was just 2 coats of spray paint in the inside. Also, I don't know if you can see this one, we spray painted the outside of the same thing. It's all black now, the pedestal like we like it.
You made some spots on that.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, if you missed spots, we can go ahead and fix them. Okay, so just 1 coat of stain.
Just 1 coat of stain.
Okay.
Now I haven't stained the top part that I'm holding. I'll go back and do that later, but it's covered with stain. You're going to take a rag that you make sure you want to throw it away because it is going to get bad, and just start wiping away. And you can see that it's coming off, but it's staying into the deep parts of the glass. That's what we want. We don't want it all covered in black. If you prefer it to be more stained, you can go back and do a second coat of stain, or you can leave it like this. So it actually gives you some definition inside the glass. And then we would use, with something like this, we would use a very antique looking plate to put on top, something very old fashioned, because this is going to be distressed. So we don't want a shiny, bright plate. We want an old fashioned plate to go with this one. So now we're going to go back inside and we're going to show you how to finish the final assembly of this. So let's go on inside. Okay, so we've got everything painted and we're ready to start assembling these. I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. Real easy. I use the E6000 glue. I like this one because it's really good for bonding glass to glass, but it's great for bonding glass to metal, metal to wood, wood to glass. It's a really nice one for that, so this is the one that I recommend. We're going to take the piece. This one has little ridges, but we're going to put a thick bead of the E6000 around the top. Because of the ridges, I want to make sure that it's filled in really well. And then we will press it to the bottom of the plate, and you're just going to make sure that you have it centered up. So let's go ahead and get started.
Yeah, the E6000, any of you cheer moms will know this glue, because this is the glue they always have us rhinestone costumes for, because you can wash them and it holds really well. It is pretty thick, so you kind of have to push pretty hard. But as you see, like Jeannie said, again, when you're picking out what your pedestal is going to look like, for example, with this glass, it's flat. So this one will be easy because we'll just put the glue all the way around the rim and attach it. This one, was a candlestick holder that she chose instead of a glass, and so it had ridges to it. So again, like Jeannie said, she has to put extra glue, a little thicker, to kind of fill in all those ridges.
And now it does tell you to let it sit for about, a minute, 2 minutes before you adhere it. So I'm going to hold this for just a moment while Patty does her glass.
Yeah, mine's faster. Ooh! Try not to get it inside the glass.
If it spills to the outside, you can clean it up. And just put that bead around the top.
Again, well-ventilated area.
It does have fumes.
It does have fumes.
Okay. And now you just want to make sure that you've got it centered. If you need to, you can mark your plate ahead of time. Mine happens to have a little dot in the middle, so I can line it up.
Ooh, that was easy. This also tends to squirt out a little bit afterwards, so I would cap it as soon as you're done using the glue.
Okay,
Mine centered?
Looks centered.
I hope so.
Does this one look good?
That looks good.
It's going to be a little bit slidey, so you don't want to touch it right now because it will go shifting around a little bit. And don't turn it over. It tells you to give it an hour. I'd actually give it a couple of hours before I flip it over, but you will have several of your pedestals. Again,
This is what ours is going to look like.
The black one. I'm excited for this one, so give it a try.
Have fun.